Post details an elderly, egotistical president shielded from reality by a slavish coterie of loyalists. Never said that word before. So ailing, mendacious, egotistical, and that's from media outlets that spent 4 years smooching Biden's wrinkly ass. They were so far up his butt, I'm surprised they didn't diagnose the cancer.
Greg Gutfeld just lit up the stage with a comedic flamethrower aimed squarely at former President Joe Biden, scorching every blunder, blooper, and bewildering soundbite from his presidency. It was less a monologue and more a fiery roast session, turning Biden's every missed cue, ghost handshake, and meandering mumble into laugh-out-loud moments of brutal satire. Gutfeld didn't just poke fun, he carved out a late-night spectacle that felt both hilariously unfiltered and cuttingly precise. No cue card, no teleprompter, and certainly no media-friendly spin could shield Joe from this merciless highlight reel. Think late-night comedy is dead? Gutfeld just gave it a defibrillator, and it's sparking like never before.
Boasting about how you should be thanking him this Thanksgiving.
Well, this past week, as Americans gathered around their own kitchen tables for Thanksgiving dinner, that was our goal, to give them a little more breathing room, from turkey to air travel to tank of gas.
Greg Gutfeld didn't just enter the scene. He stormed in with a smirk and a comedy blade sharpened with pure, unfiltered sarcasm. No warm-up act, no easing in, just a straight shot to the jugular, delivered with the precision of a surgeon who moonlights as a satirist. His target? President Joe Biden, portrayed less as the commander-in-chief and more as the bewildered face of a policy machine running on autopilot. Gutfeld painted Biden as the human teleprompter glitch, a figurehead propped up by talking points even his own team seems to fumble. It wasn't just a roast, it was performance art dipped in truth and torched with wit.
Train wreck of a fact check. Yes, Reuters invites hilarity by fact-checking obvious parody, telling its readers no such luck. Biden doesn't really chase the ice cream truck. So it's no secret the big guy enjoys his ice cream. That's just one of the reasons why Dr. Jill calls him Mr. Soft.
Greg Gutfeld didn't hold back, likening the Biden presidency not to a functioning administration, but to one long, meandering senior moment with international repercussions. He quipped that Biden resembles that endearing but wildly confused great uncle who gets turned around in his own kitchen yet insists he's perfectly capable of navigating a cross-country road trip. The punchline: it's not that Biden's unaware, it's that he's convinced he's laser-focused and that misplaced confidence is what truly raises eyebrows. Gutfeld painted a picture of Biden delivering economic policy speeches with the vacant expression of someone desperately trying to recall where they last saw their dentures. The result? A performance equal parts surreal and strangely captivating in its disconnect.
Big ad buy comes one day before Robert Hur will testify about his report claiming that Joe is an elderly man with a poor memory. Biden will be taking his angry man shtick on tour and hit 3 swing states this week. Over the weekend, he gave us a preview of what senile moments you can expect.
Greg Gutfeld had an absolute field day unraveling the tangled mess that is a Biden speech. He compared the experience to watching someone assemble IKEA furniture blindfolded. No manual, no glasses, and definitely no clue. One moment, Biden's tackling inflation with gusto. The next, he's wandering into a rambling tale about a cornfield in Delaware, complete with details no one requested. The words are technically present, but they land like Christmas lights pulled from a blender, colorful, chaotic, and completely out of order. Gutfeld joked it's less a speech and more like someone hit shuffle on a mixtape of 1980s, campaign slogans, Amtrak memories, and half-forgotten stories from small-town diners.
He's actually lobbying Baskins and Robbins to make a flavor based on little girl shampoo. Although, when Joe says sprinkles, it means call the urologist.
Ah, the infamous Biden pauses. Those long, awkward silences that have become a signature feature of his speeches. Gutfeld described them as the human equivalent of a buffering YouTube video. You're locked in, waiting to see if the sentence will ever finish, or if he's about to power down entirely. At times, he leans into the mic and whispers with the eerie intensity of someone about to reveal the location of buried Civil War treasure. Other times, he erupts, barking out random words like he's channeling a thesaurus demon mid-possession. It's less a speech and more like performance art from a glitching political robot.
Rated Mar-a-Lago with the feds. Now he gets a taste of his own meds. That's good. Stop it. You're biting into the time. The White House admits that more classified documents were found, this time at one of Biden's homes in Delaware and in his garage. But it's cool, man, because that garage was totally locked.
Gutfeld didn't just critique Biden's leadership. He dismantled it with a punchline-loaded sledgehammer. He joked that electing Joe was like choosing a screensaver to run the country. It gives the illusion that something's happening, floating symbols, flashing colors, but in reality, the system's just idling. Gutfeld dubbed him the commander-in-chief of confusion, suggesting the real national security threat isn't a foreign power. It's whether Biden remembers what day it is or why he walked into the room. Imagine a man who strolls into the kitchen and forgets why he's there, except now he's in that same kitchen signing executive orders and discussing international policy. According to Greg, under Bidenomics, you'll need to refinance your home just to buy a dozen eggs and consult a financial planner before filling up your gas tank. And when Biden assures Americans that the economy is strong, Gutfeld says it lands like a magician, claiming the rabbit's still in the hat, while the rabbit is clearly bolting out the back door. He also took aim at Biden's well-worn empathy act, mocking the idea that furrowed brows and a slow nod somehow translate into solutions. In Greg's words, Biden thinks squinting is a strategy.
Pennsylvania, I have a message for you. Send me to Congress that I can support this right, and I promise you, we take back Congress, we will restore Roe v. Wade as the law of the land.
Biden could show America his razor-sharp mind by debating Donald Trump, but so far, he refuses to commit.
Mr. President, will you commit to a debate with former President Trump?
It depends on his behavior.
Gutfeld took aim at Biden's approach to major national crises, rising crime, a chaotic border, and an educational system in disarray, noting that the president's go-to fix seems to be hosting a town hall, mumbling a few vaguely poetic platitudes, and then wandering offstage like a disoriented dad who accidentally ended up at Coachella. Greg didn't stop there. He quipped that putting Biden in charge of the country is like assigning a lava lamp to run the national power grid. It glows, it moves, it might even look soothing. But it's utterly useless when things get serious. Then came the infamous moments. Biden shaking hands with thin air, turning to address non-existent people, freezing mid-sentence like someone sat on the remote. Gutfeld joked, "We're one press conference away from seeing Biden salute a coat rack or negotiate peace with a houseplant." He compared the entire administration to a taxpayer-funded reboot of Weekend at Bernie's, where the real work isn't governance. It's the non-stop scramble by aides to explain away the latest gaffe. And the Build Back Better slogan? Greg says the only thing getting rebuilt is the damage control department after every off-script moment, which, let's face it, is every single time you speak.
The cold, sweet treat is perfect for cooling down after a long, hot, sweaty day of aimlessly drifting around the White House like a tumbleweed. But now Reuters, which claims to be a news outlet, is getting mocked online for actually fact-checking a clearly edited video of Biden getting distracted by an ice cream truck and walking out of frame.
When it comes to foreign policy, Gutfeld skewered Biden as the guy who tries to de-escalate a bear attack with a bedtime story and a warm glass of milk. Whether he's addressing hostile regimes or fumbling through international agreements, Biden carries the energy of a substitute teacher who misplaced the syllabus and is just hoping the class will nap until the bell rings. According to Greg, America's adversaries aren't intimidated, they're intrigued. They observe Biden like a strange experiment in real time, waiting to see if someone else quietly takes the wheel while he gently nods off mid-sentence. Then came the border crisis, which Gutfeld dubbed the greatest vanishing act in modern political history. Not because the problem has disappeared, it's very much alive, but because Biden somehow manages to act like it doesn't exist, even as it plays out on live television. Under Biden, Greg joked, security is no longer a policy, it's a passing vibe. The borders are open, the consequences are measurable, and Joe. He's sipping oatmeal through a biodegradable straw while a frantic aide does synchronized nodding behind him. Meanwhile, Americans are staring at their utility bills like contestants in a rigged game show. Guess the price? Nope, just pay double and pray the heat stays on.
He's gonna win.
Joe Biden was the ultimate catfish.
Yeah.
We were all online being told, oh, this is a congenial centrist. Yeah, swipe right. I don't know how to do these dating apps.
Yeah.
But anyway, then you find out it's not him at all, but some guy in a bathrobe smoking meth.
Yeah.
God, how many times has that happened to me?
Then came Gutfeld's roast of Biden's never-ending image makeovers, what he called the political equivalent of trying to polish fog. Every few weeks, the administration wheels Joe out in those signature aviators as if a pair of sunglasses can erase public memory of the gaffes, missteps, and foggy-eyed confusion. Gutfeld joked that if wearing cool shades and breaking into an awkward half-jog down a hallway could solve America's problems, Biden would be carved into Mount Rushmore by now. Instead, the whole routine feels less like a PR move and more like a retiree accidentally crashing a jazz festival in search of the bathroom. He didn't stop there. Gutfeld ripped into the student loan fiasco, describing Biden's debt relief plans as pure financial cosplay. One moment he's the caped crusader of the indebted. The next he's being bench-slapped by courts, math, and basic economic principles. All while acting like the money fairy is moments away from sprinkling the Treasury with tuition dust. Greg summed up Bidenomics with a brutal metaphor. It's like playing Monopoly without realizing you already mortgaged Boardwalk and can't remember if the thimble is a player piece or something you need for arthritis. 40 years in politics, Greg said, doesn't make you wise. It just means you've been loitering in the building while the grown-ups got things done.
Alzer and Chancellor Farabee, thank you for joining us as well. And for families across the country, the school year.
That's hilarious. I would say the footage does seem manipulated. There's no way Joe can move that fast. But give him a break, he's got oil cancer.
And then there's the grand performance of unity, the carefully staged facade that Biden is the nation's unifier-in-chief, even as he casually brands half the country as extremists. Gutfeld likened it to inviting relatives over for Thanksgiving, only to roast their politics, parenting, and parking job before they even reach the mashed potatoes. You can't claim to heal a nation with one hand while wagging the finger of blame with the other. According to Gray, the only thing Biden's truly united is America's bipartisan craving to hit mute on every political ad until the end of time. He took it further, pointing out that Biden might be the first president in modern history who could doze off in a high-level meeting and still be praised for his measured calm. In Gutfeld's words, we've reached a point where Biden blinking twice in the correct direction qualifies as a policy win. That's not leadership, he argued. It's a national group project in managing expectations. America didn't elect a president, Greg joked. They inherited a long, meandering voicemail from a confused relative who already left the same message 3 times. And as the gaffes keep coming, so do the punchlines. Gutfeld's just getting warmed up, and he's not handing over the mic anytime soon.
The department's appointing a special counsel to review whether Biden mishandled classified info. So how is the White House dealing with this? Come on, you just got to trust the process.
This is an ongoing process under the review of the Department of Justice. We're going to respect the process, and we're just going to allow the process to continue. Let the process continue. It's an ongoing process. I am genuinely saying to you, there is an ongoing process. This is all part of the Justice Department process as part of that process. And I said because there was a process of justice throughout this process, we just laid out the process that was taken, and that is the process.
Yeah.
Gutfeld leaned in with even sharper jabs, saying Biden's presidency feels like one of those unexpected, never-ending airport layovers. No one really planned for it. Nothing seems to be functioning, and everyone's just anxiously waiting for it to be over without losing their luggage or their mind. He compared Biden's policy rollouts to flight delay announcements, delivered with forced cheer, followed by mass confusion, and almost always ending in frustration. One day, it's a green energy summit with bold promises and buzzwords. The next, he's whispering into the microphone about unity while an actual train derailment gets treated like background noise. It's like receiving a bill you didn't expect and definitely don't want to pay. Gutfeld joked that the White House now feels like a live-action reboot of Weekend at Bernie's, but swap the beach party for note cards, aviators for cue cards, and the fun for press secretaries performing Olympic-level damage control. Every time Biden pivots to exit a stage, there's a suspenseful moment where everyone silently wonders if he'll walk into the flag, a staffer, or simply vanish off the wrong side. Yet the media still applauds like he's split the atom. And then came Gutfeld's favorite bit, mocking Biden's clumsy attempts to connect with the average American.
What if the Biden cover-up was by design, orchestrated to protect not the president, but to enable a radical agenda? Anyone could tell Joe was feeble. But what if Biden's decline wasn't caused by disability, but by debility, meaning he was purposely kept exhausted, confused, and miserable, like an overnight shift worker or a Fox and Friends viewer?
Gutfeld couldn't help but laugh at the absurdity of Biden's working-class persona. He joked that Joe tries to talk like a lifelong blue-collar guy while being chauffeured to high-dollar fundraisers, surrounded by artisan candles and imported espresso in his Delaware hideaway. Listening to Biden speak about everyday struggles, Gutfeld said, is like hearing a reality TV host claim they understand homelessness because they once stayed at a Motel 6. Then Greg pivoted to Biden's surreal social media moments. Those oddly stiff, overly scripted videos where he clutches an ice cream cone like it's a policy document or squints into the camera like he's trying to remember what planet he's on. Gutfeld quipped they feel less like presidential messages and more like promotional spots for upscale retirement homes, rebranded as leadership content. And if Biden ever dared to attempt a TikTok challenge, Gutfeld said it would be titled Find the Exit, a game of wandering confusion with high-stakes stage directions. As the audience leaned in, both laughing and wincing, Gutfeld grinned. Because this wasn't just comedy, it was a shared release. America wasn't mocking the moment, it was processing the exhaustion, one punchline at a time.